So for this tutorial, we're going to go over some conditional codes for mazes. And the plan here is that we want to make sure that our sprite, the cat, stays inside of the maze. So in other words, if the cat is touching the white background, then we want it to kind of bounce back 10 steps. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to go into our cat script, and we're going to use some conditional blocks. So first, let's just grab an event that's going to start this code. We'll use the green flag for this. And we're going to go into our control category and use an if-then block. So the sentence we're trying to complete is, if the cat is touching the white, then we want it to bounce back 10 steps. So our touching blocks are in the sensing categories, and we can grab the touching color block and put it inside of the if-then. Now, if this color needs to be changed, the way we do it is we click on the color, and then we can click on the background color. So now the color inside matches the color that we do not want the sprite to touch. And we're going to complete this sentence now. So if the cat is touching the color white, then we want it to bounce back 10 steps. And the way that we show it bouncing back 10 steps is by putting in the move 10 steps block, but we want it to be in a backwards direction, so we'll add the minus sign in front. Now, if we were to try this code right now and click the green flag, the cat would still be able to go outside of the maze, because the code is only running one time. And whenever we use a conditional block with a touching block inside, we're going to want to go back into our control category and put a forever loop around it. And that way the code will run through the entire maze. So now when I click the green flag and I try to escape the maze, it's not going to let me. The cat is just going to keep bouncing back, and there's no way out. Now, the second conditional code we're going to look at is the code that if the cat is touching the ball, then we'll make something happen. So we're going to once again use the green flag as our event, and we're going to use the same conditional code inside the control category, the if-then, and we're also going to find in the sensing category a touching block. And here it is. This time we're not going to use touching color, but we're going to use the one that says touching mouse pointer. Now, embedded inside of this block of code are all the other sprites that are in your project. So we can say, we can select the ball, for example. So we're coding for the cat. So the sentence reads as, when the green flag's clicked, if the cat is touching the ball, then we will make something happen. So one thing we can do is perhaps we can make the ball ask a question that the player will need to answer in order to get past that part of the maze. So if we go into our sensing category, we have what you see, we have an ask block, and we can put that inside of the if-then conditional statement, and we can ask the question, what is 2 plus 2, for example. Now, also inside of that conditional, we want to be able to program the answer to that question. So we actually need another conditional block. So now we are doing ask and answer code inside of the touching code. So what is 2 plus 2? Well, from previous lessons, we know that we can actually grab the answer code from the sensing category, and in our operators, we can grab the blank equals blank code, and we can let our sprite know that the answer to that question is 4. Well, we have a few more things to fill in before this is going to work. What happens if the player answers 4? Well, there are a lot of different things you could do, but let's say we wanted to allow our cat to jump past that obstacle. So let's grab the cat and find out what the XY position is right after the ball. So put him here. And if we go to our motion category, we can see that here's the XY position for that place. So we can say if they answer correctly, they get to jump past that ball, past that obstacle. But if they answer incorrectly, that's in the else, they have to start the maze over at the beginning. And I'll drop the cat back at the beginning and grab the other go to XY, which is the beginning of the maze. Now the very last step of this is to make sure that we put a forever block around this, because the code, anytime, again, when we use a touching code, we want to make sure we have a forever so it runs through the entire game. So let's click the green flag and see how this works. So when I click the green flag, remember again, I can't get out of the maze because of the first code we did. And now when I touch the ball, it asks me a question. When I answer it correctly, it should jump me past the ball, and it does. Okay, let's stop and see what happens if the answer is incorrect. Green flag to start the code. I'm going to touch the ball as my first obstacle. What's 2 plus 2? Well, let's say it's 5. Now when I submit the wrong answer, it will bring me back to the beginning of the maze.